All right, here's the deal, guys. It is not the end of the world. So there's all kinds of stuff going on in the media about how after May 1st, mortgage rates are going up. People who have great credit are going to pay more than people who have lower credit scores. I'm here to tell you it's simply not true. I'm a fact-based mortgage lender. I like looking at the facts. We spent some time with the charts this week, and we're now going to share some of our research with you so you can clear things up. First of all, what are the charts? The charts are what they call LLPAs. This stands for loan level price adjustments. In other words, it when Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac basically say, hey, with maybe a higher credit score, you'll get a little bit better rate. With a more down payment, you'll get a better rate. We're basically saying that we're going to charge based on risk. Okay. So in this example, what you guys are looking at is two charts. On the top is the old loan level price adjustment. On the bottom is the new loan level price adjustment. For me to tell you how this impacts, we're going to go to our first example. So in our first example, we have the old chart on the top. Somebody with a 740 credit score, they're putting 3% down. It's possible to do a 3% down conventional loan. And you'll see highlighted on my chart 0.75. In other words, the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, if you wanted the best possible rate, let's just use 6.5 as an example for today. 6.5 is the best possible rate. If this borrower with a 740 plus score in the old matrix was putting 3% down, they would want to charge him 0.75 or $750 per 100,000. That's what the old charge was. Now, the new charges, by the way, they've done a couple of things. Instead of just saying, hey, everybody north of 740 is assessed this one fee, they broke it down and they gave us a couple other levels. So folks that have a credit score north of 780 and are only putting 3% down actually will be paying 0.125, not zero point 0.5. So there's a significant savings there. That's like a 75% savings. It's $125 per 100,000. They've also created a bucket for 760 score to 779. That is 0.25. So instead of on the old one, somebody would pay an extra $750. In the old one, if you were in this bucket, in the new chart with the new rates that are effective right now, you pay 0.25, a $500 savings. If we're at 740 to 759, the cost is only 0.5. That is still cheaper than the old ones. So that's one example. Let's look somewhere else on the chart. Okay, we've got on this chart, in this particular slide, we have somebody putting down 3% and they have a score between 640 and 659. On the old chart, they would pay 2.75 points for the best rate. I'm laughing because that's $2,750 to get 6.5 or whatever the par rate of the day was. On the new chart, you'll see in the bottom it says 1.5. That's all they would pay is 1.5. Now, that's a huge savings from 2.75. It's a massive savings. But let's talk about reality for 1 second. Although that all seems dramatic, if somebody were to go to apply for a mortgage with a credit score between 640 and 659, and they were only putting down 3%, it's actually highly unlikely we're going to get an automated underwriting approval from Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac anyway. Generally, with 3% down, they prefer higher credit scores. So while that seems dramatic, it's also not realistic because we're just not going to see many approvals there. Let's look at another example. A lot of people strive to get to 20% down. Believe it or not, there's still 19% of millennials that think you have to put 20% down in a recent survey. You don't. So let's say we're putting 20% down. In the old chart, 740 score is going to pay a half a point to get the best possible rate. Now, again, we've got some extra buckets in the new chart. In the new chart, we've got 780 plus. You actually don't pay 0.5, you pay 0.375. It's actually a little cheaper. But here's where some of the differences to the other end show up. Bucket between 760 and 779. Instead of the old rule where you'd pay 0.5, you're going to pay 0.625. So you're going to pay an extra $125 per 100,000. And yes, if you have a 740 score to 759, it's 0.875. That's a difference of 0.375. Ultimately, you'd pay another $375 under the new loan level price adjustments. That's about the most dramatic change that we see is that 0.375. Let's give you another example. In that same 20% down, somebody with a 640 to 659 score, chart on the top, they would pay 3% to get the best possible rate, or $3,000 per 100,000 to get whatever today's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac par rate is. In the new, they would pay 2.25. So they're getting a savings break of $750 per 100,000, 3/4 of a point. Pretty good deal. By the way, that person putting down 25%, or putting down 20%, that person putting down 20% of the new chart is still paying a lot more than the person with the 740 score. 640 score, cost is 225, 2 points or 2.25. With a 740 score, it's 0.875. 640 score, 2.25. So the point is, it's a big deal. People with lower scores are still paying more, just not quite as much as they did in the past. Now, let's give you guys one more example. Actually, I think we got 2 more slides here. This is for 25% down, and this is going to be a lot more dramatic. For 25% down, if you have a 640 to 659 score, instead of paying 2.75 for the best rate, you see that I have it highlighted there, you would only pay 1.5. That's a savings of 1.25. Pretty good savings for that lower band credit score. This is one last place that I see a big change for people with higher credit scores where it's actually in their benefit. If you look at the chart on the top, I have highlighted in the left corner, where would you need to be not to pay any of these loan level price adjustments? Like, hey, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, stick it in your ear. What do I got to do? Well, in the old chart, you would have to have a score north of 660 and put at least 40% down. And you'll see that whole column there, there's 0, 0, 0 on the left. In the new loan level price adjustment chart, you can get away with as little as 30% down and have a score. In that case, you have to have a score over 760, so it's still high, but it's great. But now under the new chart, if you're over 640, you can still not have any extra fees. So there's a couple places here extra where you wouldn't have any fees out at all, any loan level price adjustments. So what do I want you to take from this? Yes, there's a little bit of a change at the top for certain areas on our chart, but there's also some savings for some people on the top of the chart. Keep in mind, 39% of America prior to the pandemic had a credit score that was 750 or higher. So yeah, there's some impact there on a lot of people certainly, but the other 60%, whatever, 61%, are actually going to get a little bit better break, a little bit better, cheaper rate, things like that. So if you want to learn more about this, have any questions, reach out to me, want to see some of the slides, give me a ring. I'll walk you through them. I'll make this presentation. I'm just telling you, it's not as bad as the sky is falling. This isn't the end of the world. If you need any help from us this weekend, we're available Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 9 at 847-603-2300. That's our hotline. If you're out looking with one of our pre-approved buyers and you're making an offer, please, please, please give us a call. Let us sell that borrower to the listing agent, because I personally know it makes a big difference if the lender calls along with you calling. Thank you guys for listening. I hope this really helped you. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.